Thank you for listening to the Conformed to Christ podcast, where we seek to engage the mind, affect the heart, and call people to follow Christ. I'm Jay Jones, here with George Mays for a Free-for-All Friday. What's going on, George?
Not much.
Woke up this morning, George. Whole car wouldn't start.
That's always really frustrating.
One of those days.
Yeah.
I think you got it figured out, though. We'll see. Got a part coming in. Modern cars. They're in parts in strange places. You know?
Right.
So
they're designed so that you have to take them to a mechanic. You can't do it at home.
yeah. Yeah, I used to have an 88 Chevrolet white pickup truck. I drove that from the time I was 18, I guess, till shortly before I moved here.
Yeah.
So for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
You could fix anything on that. Was like, you could just reach in the engine, like, oh, there's that part. Let's change it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So easy. Not anymore. It's like the engineers go, okay, how can we make this impossible for a regular person to work on? Let's do that.
Right.
You know? I don't know if they do that, but that's what it looks like. Yeah. The easiest, though, was my 1970 GTO. You open that hood, you got plenty of room to work in that. You ever seen an engine like that? You need to do yourself a favor and Google a picture of that engine and just gaze upon its beauty. Just do that later.
All right.
Little bonus for you. Well, what do we got today, George? Free for All Friday. There's all kind of madness in the world.
Yeah, it's been another week where it's trying to figure out what to talk about because there's so much.
There is so much.
Yeah. I came across a story, another headline.
You came across?
I came across.
With a T?
Yes.
Okay.
I came across a headline.
You're going to be self-conscious about that for the rest of your life,
probably.
aren't you?
And it caught my attention. Thought you would be interested in this.
All right.
Body of dead rapper Gunu propped up at DC, quote, homegoing celebration at nightclub.
What? They did a weekend at Bernie's with this guy? Is that what that means?
Apparently they did. Yeah.
Oh, my.
Viral video circulating online Monday showed a shocking scene. The dead body of Maryland rapper Markel Moreau, who went by Gunu, propped up on stage at a Washington, D.C. nightclub dressed in a hoodie with a crown on his head weeks after he had been fatally shot. Weeks after.
What? What?
In the background, music blares and strobe lights flash. Dozens of people singing and dancing are crowded into the Bliss Club.
That's crazy, man. What in the world?
Yeah.
How did they pull that off? Was he embalmed?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Said cell phone recordings from Sunday night at the Club Bliss, where an event occurred titled The Final Show. Show mourners saying goodbye to the rapper who appears to be propped up on stage.
George, get through it.
With his eyes open.
No.
Propped up on a stage, sporting a designer Amiri hooded sweatshirt, ripped jeans decorated with flames, and sneakers accessorized with a watch and a gold crown.
This is bonkers, man.
Yeah. According to a source who attended the event, said there was a $40 cover fee to enter the venue. At this time, it's unclear whether the club knew Gunu's corpse was going to be displayed.
Oh my God.
So
How do you pull that off?
I don't know. But apparently his family was there.
I guess the family.
The nightclub issued a statement apologizing and saying that they were the family was in their thoughts and prayers. but people were saying that that's Gunu's sister told a news station, "We're not trying to clear anything up. We don't care about anybody and what y'all have to say negative. Nobody. We don't care." They're like, "I know his mama wouldn't approve of that." Yeah, she did. She was on stage with us.
Oh wow. They had to milk. They had to get that last money.
I guess.
That last.
I
that
guess
last money.
another rapper. He posted the video of the audience dancing around the corpse on Instagram, and he said, "As long as his mother was happy, that's all that matters."
This is some strange stuff, man.
The things that come across my news feed, you wouldn't believe, Jay. Every time you think that you've seen it all, something else pops up and grabs your attention.
Where did it come? Did you get that on Twitter, or did that come across just your Apple News or something?
It actually was on the Daily Wire, is where I
my.
originally found it, and then I went and Googled a little bit more, and it's all over the place.
That's so bizarre.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I've seen other articles of funerals where the person is propped up doing something. I saw one where the guy was propped up at a drum kit.
A drum kit?
Yeah, like
is this like a new thing?
I guess it's a new thing. It's like going to a taxidermist and having your dog
taxidermied,
your dog, posed. I guess now you can do that with your departed loved ones.
I wouldn't doubt that that's coming.
Yeah.
What's weird is that it seemed like for a long time, you'd never see a body at funerals.
Yeah.
We talked about this in our Sunday school class. You never see. In fact, I said, one thing for sure, like when I die, you're gonna have to look at me in the casket.
Mm-hmm.
People, like everybody, it's gonna be like mandated stand up and go past the casket line thing.
Yeah.
Because I want all the non-believers to look at my dead body.
Yeah.
Because I want them to have to come to grips with that reality before somebody preaches the gospel.
Yeah.
I want it in that order. Look at my dead body, then someone preaches the gospel and the resurrection. But nowadays, apparently, people are like, "Hey, whatever, we'll just..."
Yeah, I guess they've swung to the other extreme.
Yeah.
They've gone from "let's not look at it" to "hey, what kind of funny pose can we get?"
Man, we could have had Spurgeon in his pulpit.
That's right.
It's pretty cool to go to Midwestern and see the pulpit itself.
Yeah.
But we could have had him in his pulpit. Think that would have worked at Midwestern? No. How would you know the difference, though? The wax museum stuff is so real.
Yeah. I think you probably could tell.
You think so?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Going along with this, I came across a description of this guy's rapping. I thought that you would be interested in it.
Oh, no.
Nobody can whisper rap quite like Gunu.
No.
He's more or less created his own unique sound, a rushed murmur of descriptive confessions about drug dealing.
Nobody can whisper rap like Gunu.
No one can whisper rap like him. Would you like to take a guess at how he died?
I thought you said he got shot.
Oh, okay. He was shot in a robbery. So.
Okay. Yeah. Gunu.
Who would have known that the whisper rapper? That's right. Who would have known that the whisper rapper who murmurs about drug deals would have been taken out
It's not like you reap
in a robbery?
It's like you reap what you sow, or something.
That's almost as if he had it coming.
Yeah.
But he did not deserve to be propped up at a nightclub while people are dancing around his corpse. So, yeah. So that was a little.
What a strange story.
Little strange story I came across, and I thought, who would enjoy this story? Jay Jones.
That is a strange story, my friend. I wonder if there's is there some type of cultural elements? I'm interested now. You got me curious.
Yeah.
I bet it goes back. There's some type of cultural thread here. You know what I'm saying?
What, of propping up dead bodies.
Well, most like people's rituals, it goes back somewhere. Like, we ever see people pour out something, like they pour a drink out on the ground for somebody.
Right.
That like goes back to paganistic beliefs in the past about giving dead people things when they're dead,
Yeah.
bringing them a drink or whatever. It's all connected.
Mm.
So there's some thread there to be pulled on.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
Okay.
I've got to do it.
You're going to have to do some research.
Yeah. For sure. Well, what do we talk about next?
Well, I've got this pulled up. We haven't tested the audio on this, so I don't know if it's going to work on first try or not. That'd be something new for us. But this
is this that prayer?
This is a prayer that's been circulating the last couple of days. This is from a PCUSA church in Iowa, and it is in. Well, she'll set it up, so I don't have to set it up. The lady sets it up. It's a 3.5 minute clip. I think we should play the entire thing. I originally just saw a short clip of it, but then I went and watched the entire thing. She sets it up, and then she prays, quote unquote praise,
right?
Well.
She's a
PCU. You can see it. You can hear it when she gets. I don't think we really need to give any kind of setup for this.
Well, they may be curious. What's PCUSA? PCUSA is Presbyterian Church USA.
Right.
There was a split, I guess, in the Presbyterian world, and they're the liberals.
Yes.
They're the ones, like, if you ever wondered, does my dog need communion? You could go there and they could give your dog communion.
Okay.
Did you know that?
I did not know
Did
that.
you ever look at your dog and think, you know what my dog needs? Some communion.
No.
Well, apparently those people are out there.
Those animal blessings are they're pretty widespread.
Yeah.
Methodists do it. PCUSA do it. Yeah.
I bless my dog when I throw it a bone. That's how I bless it. Say, enjoy. That's it. That's the extent.
So R.C. Sproul, he grew up and he was converted while he was attending a PCUSA church. But it was liberal.
Yeah.
And so he left. I can't remember if he helped start the PCA or if I don't remember exactly how the PCA, the Presbyterian Church of America, which is the more conservative, though I kind of liken it to the Southern Baptist Convention.
Yeah.
There's good PCA churches, and then there's bad PCA churches. But they split. So this is PCUSA. PCUSA years ago, I can't remember how many years ago. They have their presbytery, like their national. I can't remember what it's called. The national meeting. Anyway, they opened
Presbytery.
Well, that's the
smaller one?
smaller
Synod.
That's the presbytery is kind of like what we would call an association. I think maybe a synod. I don't know. Anyway, it was their national conference, whatever that is, when the national PCUSA meeting is. They opened it with a prayer to Allah years ago. So that's kind of where the PCUSA is. So this prayer should come as no surprise. You want to hear this prayer, Jay?
Let's hear it.
Okay. That's not it.
Skip trial.
That's not showing up on my
YouTube Premium.
That's not showing up on my screen. That's weird. I don't know. High-tech stuff. That wasn't on my screen, so I don't know what's going on.
You'll have to
here.
close YouTube out.
All right, let me close YouTube and let me try this again.
There you go.
Let's see. I don't know what's here. Let me open this.
It's right there. I see it. I see it.
Yeah, it wasn't popping up for some reason.
This past
Okay, here we go.
Thursday, March 31st, was the International Transgender Day of Visibility. In the PCUSA, we welcome all of our transgender and queer siblings into this family and relationship with the Creator God. So today, I wish to pray a prayer that was written for this incredible day. Will you?
Look at the guy in the background. He's just more.
Well,
he's,
I was gonna mention the fact
well,
that
no, show his face. Show his face so they can see it. Look at him. That's the look when your manhood's been stolen from you.
I was kind of shocked that they let a white man up on the stage.
Well, he's not really a man, so
Okay. Well, I'm
yeah.
not a biologist, so
yeah.
okay.
He's like a eunuch. That's what you have to be to serve in a denomination like that.
Okay.
and be a biological male. You're a eunuch.
All right. So this is for what? Transgender Visibility Day.
Mm.
All right.
With me. O God of pronouns, we give praise to the Great One, the one who is identifiable as God. I am what I am, you say, the great they. The incarnate he and she, the God of trans being.
Hang on, pause it.
Impregnating
The
Mary.
incarnate she?
I don't know, man.
Yeah. God was incarnate. I'm pretty sure he wasn't a she.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know. You missed that part. She says impregnating Mary.
Yeah.
Let's see where she goes with this.
Oh, yeah.
Fathering God, breastfeeding God of many breasts. You shatter all stereotypes, making every single person male and female.
Wait, what?
Male and female,
uh-oh.
intersex, non-binary, in your image. Exactly in your image. Spectrum, rainbow God, who put your promise for nonviolence in the symbol for queer love before humanity knew, because you knew.
Okay, so what she just said is that God knew that the homosexual community would use the rainbow symbol as the sign of their community.
Right.
And so he proactively put it in
His
the Genesis story.
Yeah. His covenant sign not to destroy the world.
Yeah.
By water.
Mm-hmm.
There's fire coming.
Yep. All right.
Who had Joseph, who could not sleep with a woman, in a beautiful lady's cloak, perhaps of rainbow colors, before we knew.
Okay. All right.
Joseph had on a lady's cloak, George.
So what she's saying, there's some ambiguity about what she's saying, but it's implied that Joseph did not sleep with Potiphar's wife because he was a transgender. That he was not attracted to women.
Right.
He's wearing ladies' clothes, and
she said that his coat of many colors is a woman's cloak.
Yeah.
Yeah. These people have very, very good imaginations.
They really do.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty creative. All right. I'll try not to stop it too much more.
Knew. God of pronouns, who said, you can call me he or she or they, whatever makes you feel closest to me.
I missed that Bible verse.
I missed that.
Invisible and visible God, on this day, where visibility and celebration, belatedness, affirmation, and acceptance is the bare minimum. Remind us that you are the God of pronouns, so you affirm and you celebrate them. God of Saul, Paul, Simon, Isaac, Jacob, Isaac, Simon, Peter, Abram and Sarai, and Abraham and Sarah. God
Creativity.
of Joseph, of the coat of many colors, of the Ethiopian eunuch, of the Virgin Mary, God of all found families in the Bible. Remind us that you affirm us in our full identity, name, pronoun, found family, all of it. For this, we give you thanks and praise to the great I am, the great they, them. Thank you, God. And so in the now in the words that our mother, our father, and our sibling God taught us to pray, and pray with us now. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be your name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done.
Probably good, no? Is there
On
more?
earth as it is in heaven.
Is there more?
Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
Unreal, dude. It says, Paul says, there is no fear of God before their eyes. You know, I've been talking to you about this idea. The more that you actually believe the Bible, I think more that there is an actual fear and respect of God. I don't want to give them too much away from the sermon coming up, but let's just say the prayer of Habakkuk chapter 3 is a prayer will never, ever be prayed by anyone like that.
Yeah.
Never.
Right. Well, go back to the screen. Look at her posture. Look at her posture while she's reading this.
Yeah.
Like she's saying this is a prayer, but look at her.
Yeah.
Like she's leaned over, she's resting her arms on the pulpit. She's reading it poorly. I mean, she stumbled over this several times. Like they're just going through these motions. They don't really believe that they're praying to this God.
Yeah.
Right.
The
And then it's just, I mean, she's just making stuff up. The God of pronouns.
I think what's important for people to understand that there's a clear trend, as we'll see. We got another clip of another woman praying, but in these circles where these things are, where there's no fear of God, what you have is women like this, who I would say are incredibly evil and wicked women. I believe she's evil down to the core of her being. To talk about God in such a way is pure evil. This is like, we joke and we laugh about how stupid it is, because but there is another element of it that we have to remember. She's an evil, wicked person,
right?
To talk about God that way, and
they're lying about God.
Right?
God has revealed who He is, and they're lying about God. And then they have the audacity to end with the prayer that Christ taught the disciples, and they're blaspheming God. Because that prayer is in direct contradiction to everything that they've said. Because how does Jesus teach his disciples to pray? Not, oh, great God of pronouns. Oh, great they. It says, our Father. That's how God has revealed himself, and that's how Jesus has revealed the Father to us. And so for them to reject that and to say these things about God is to lie about God. It's to blaspheme him.
Yeah, a good book is to read on this is Delighting in the Trinity. And what that book will help you to understand is God didn't pick some analogy, right, to tell you what he's like. And he's like, oh, a father is, whatever. That book really gets at the idea that fatherhood and fathers exist because God is eternally a father himself. That's who he is in his nature. And the second person of the Trinity is eternally a son.
Yeah.
Now, if that's who God is and that's how he's revealed himself to us, you don't just get to throw whatever pronouns in. Like, a female one's as good as a male. Like, no, like, that's not it. Now, you got to read the book, because you don't want to then look and say, hey, women are second-class people.
Well, and there's a couple of places where God uses motherly language.
Yes.
And we have to be really careful when we say that he reveals himself as a father. God is not a male.
Right.
He doesn't have, God doesn't have a body like us. He's a spirit.
Yes.
So when we say that he reveals himself as father, we're not saying that he is a man, because God is not a man. But he does reveal himself as a father. And even though there's some motherly language in the Old and the New Testament, the thrust of it is that God is Father.
Right.
And that's what Jesus tells us. That's how he tells us to pray to God as Father, not as Mother.
Right.
And definitely not as they, as Father.
Yeah. Yeah, and Jesus is eternally a man.
Right.
Right. But they would say, I guess they say Jesus isn't really, like he's a gender bender or something.
I've heard some of the really extreme ones talk about Jesus like he was transgender.
Crazy. So you got women like that, evil, wicked women. And then you have emasculated men. Like that picture is a perfect example.
Right.
here's a guy, what he should be doing in his God-given natural leadership role is getting up and saying, shut your mouth. Talk about God like that. You out of your mind? Are you crazy?
Yeah.
Like we're standing and we could be dead at any second because of the stupid stuff you're saying.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But there he just sits there and collects that paycheck. Probably goes home and gets bossed around by his own wife. You know what I mean? And such is his life. Yep. That's what you have in these denominations. So, yeah, read that prayer in Habakkuk 3 if you're listening, and then try to just put that God like what are you talking about? Like they're describing God as this
You told us to
warrior.
call you father or mother or they, whatever makes you feel most comfortable, most close to him.
Yeah, that's right. He's a warrior.
Yeah.
He's a warlord warrior in Habakkuk chapter 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This lady would be vaporized if God came close to her.
Right.
Because he's not this they want to turn God into this effeminate queer.
Yeah.
That's what they want to turn him into.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Soon though, it will all be gone, and they'll just be pantheists. That's the only way they can end.
They're probably already Unitarians.
Yeah.
They're probably already Universalists. They've already probably abandoned. They probably don't even believe in hell. So once you jettison that, you're jettisoning all morals. Like, why is it wrong to be a bigot?
Yeah.
There's no hell. We're all going to heaven anyway. This is how I get close to God. This is, I get close to God this way.
Why do they do any of it anyway? That's what I wondered. Like, if you don't believe the Bible's God's word, you don't believe in the resurrection, because most of them don't believe in the resurrection of the dead.
Mm-hmm.
Like, get a different job.
Yeah.
Like, there's other stuff to do.
Right.
It's so weird. It's so weird to me, man.
You watch. You look at that. You watch the video of her and leaning over the pulpit and just kind of resting there, and she's reading this and she's not reading it well, and you get the impression that she would rather be out doing some kind of activist work, not in there. Like, what's even the point of this?
Yeah. Strange.
You got another clip for us?
Well,
Jay?
you got the transgender, so she's talking transgender stuff. So maybe I figured segue over into that other transgender thing.
Yeah.
That you had.
I don't have the other one. I thought you had the.
Oh,
other
do
one.
I have the other one?
I thought you had the other one.
The transgender. Is it a clip?
The other lady.
Oh, it's about that bill.
Yeah, the bill in Texas.
Yeah.
Where
let me try to pull it up.
They're investigating what parents, if a child is there. What's the age for this? Do you know what the age is?
Mm-mm.
It seemed like it was young children.
It's probably minors,
Yeah.
be my guess.
Yeah.
So anyone, I'm sure, under 18.
So if a minor has gender reassignment surgery
or hormonal stuff,
they open up an investigation on the parents.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And this is actually a bill. I think Governor Abbott actually signed it.
Did it make it through? Were you able to see? Because it sounds like when this lady makes this prayer, ladies making prayers,
that it's not official.
It's not official
yet.
It's not official
Okay.
yet, but maybe it is. Who knows?
For gender affirming intent.
You ready?
Yep.
So I don't know what this lady is. What do you think?
She is. She's a Unitarian Universalist, I believe.
Okay. What has she got? A moon medallion on? What is this?
I don't know what that is.
Got a.
Look, there's another effeminate guy.
There's another
guy back there. They've even got him. Masked.
There's another eunuch back there. We should start like a ministry where we could like help men recover their manhood.
Reach out to these guys. Like, it doesn't have to be this way.
Yeah.
You don't have to sit there with a muzzle while this.
We could take them out in the woods, and the first thing we could do is we could have them let out a beastly roar. Like step one, unleash that inner man. Here's the woods. Just let it rip. Roar! Let it out. And then they'll start to cry because their manhood's been robbed for so long, and we can slap them and be like, knock that off, man. Men don't cry ever at funerals. I think.
Does that count at nightclubs where your friend is propped up? Can you cry at that?
I think there's a legit ministry here.
Okay.
When society collapses soon, when it all falls to the ground, there'll be a lot of these guys.
Yeah.
That will need to help out.
Okay.
We'll find them. We'll find them in the corner, just like laying in a puddle of their own tears,
Weeping.
Yeah. All right. Listen to
Don't
this.
get closer than 6 feet.
Like there's rubble all around, and they're like, no, I'm traumatized because somebody said something mean. You ready?
Yeah, I guess so.
All right.
Texas Governor Abbott has attempted to criminalize a family's support for gender-affirming care for their transgender children, calling this child abuse. And Family and Protective Services staff are sent to investigate the parents of transgender children receiving gender-affirming care. Now, of course, this has been put on hold for now, but this legislation is evil. It's evil because of the irreparable harm this law would cause to trans children and their families. And it's evil because it is a blatant disregard for an individual's agency to determine their own answer to the question, who do I say that I am? It is evil because it denies this most basic human right. Now, of course, we know this is a political move, throwing red meat to a conservative base, but it is an offense that is deeper than politics, because being human is about so much more than one's social and political identity. So today's service cannot dive deep enough into the multi-layered and multifaceted experience we have of being human. But what we can do is to hear from 3 members of this congregation and of their experiences of naming and claiming identities. So in the hearing, we hope that you will ask yourself 2 questions. First, what are the aspects that make up who you say you are and why? And second, are there identities which others claim with which you struggle accepting, and why? Just like my family, beloved though they are to me, who can't accept me as Kathleen, but rather as Kathy, or perhaps grandparents who continue to insist on misgendering their grandchild, or the struggle to gain acceptance for the pronouns of one's choice. Who do I say that I am? Well, I like that mysterious presence, also called Yahweh's answer the best. I will become what I choose to become.
Okay. Man, these people, I'll tell you what.
They'll just rip any passage of scripture and just twist it and just make it say whatever they want it to say. That mysterious being that we also call Yahweh.
So mysterious. Yeah. If only he had revealed things about himself to us. Not so mysterious when you realize he's told us a lot about himself and about humanity.
Jay, who do you say that you are?
I don't know who I am anymore. Who am I? I get up in the morning and I see this beard on this face.
Yeah.
And I look at that face and I say, is that the beard of a man? But am I a man? What if I am something else? That could be the most beautiful blonde beard a woman's ever wore.
You are a beautiful, strong warrior princess, Jay Jones.
Oh, goodness gracious. Yeah.
This is evil. It's evil to keep these little kids from lopping off their genitals and
Right. Yeah.
taking hormone therapy and
These people are truly evil and wicked.
yeah.
Right. We don't need to sugarcoat it anyway.
Yeah. Oh, they're gross. Like I think that we've become so PC that people are afraid to look at a guy who's dressed like a woman and just say, "Dude, you're gross."
Yeah.
Like there should be like a gag reflex when we see stuff like this because it is contrary to nature. It is contrary to the way that God has designed the world. And when we look at this stuff, we should say, that's really gross.
Right.
Like, this is sick stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What they're doing, and, David French, and all, like, there's all this stuff about, like, not using the word grooming. But if you look at what has happened in the rapid rise of what's going on in so many transgender cases, I don't know what you say, people identifying as transgender, the number is skyrocketing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is something that is learned socially now.
Yeah,
it's undeniable. Otherwise, the numbers would be the same in every culture. In every culture, they would be the same if this was just a naturally occurring phenomenon. It's not. It's something that's taught. It's something that wicked, evil parents tell their children. Like, again, I tell you, the prime example is like, we'll just use like Evangeline, since she's a young girl right now, right?
Yeah.
She does not play like a little girl. She doesn't play like a little girl. She doesn't play like Brooke even played, and Brooke was kind of a tomboy. She plays just like Drake. She is like a female version of Drake. She's very rough. She runs. She climbs. She jumps. She can't sit still. Occasionally she might play with dolls if you get them out, but she's not going to go for the dolls, right? She's going to go for the stuff she can throw. A liberal parent would tell her she may be a boy and help her explore that.
Right.
But she doesn't, I said, what are you going to be when you grow up? Probably a mommy, so
Yeah.
there's a place in the world for girls, and, there's a spectrum of how feminine people are, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got sporty girls, you got not sporty girls. And you got the same thing for men. You got sporty boys, and you got boys that would rather, be in the library.
Mm-hmm.
You don't tell the guy that's not real masculine, that's not on all the football teams growing up, because he doesn't like sports, that he might be a girl. But that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're doing that to these little kids.
Right.
And then the little kid, they're indoctrinating them. And then they're giving them puberty blockers. And then after they do the puberty blockers, then they're like literally mutilating their bodies. I read a long tweet thread. I should have saved it, could have brought it in here. It was actually, this guy's an atheist, and here's how he starts his tweet. I'm an atheist, I'm not religious, and I'm a liberal Democrat. I vote Democrat. And he says, we are way, way off base on this on the transgender movement.
Yeah.
And he lists a series of facts about transgender and gender dysphoria.
Yeah.
Because it still is gender dysphoria, right?
Right.
It's a mental illness. And he says something like 92% of kids, adolescent kids that experience some type of gender dysphoria, they've got a bunch of other problems in their life, like abuse or psychological things. But he says if you just leave them alone, 92% of them outgrow it and become, quote, normal, right? Their gender corresponds to their biology.
Right.
92%. So what he's saying is, like, what you're doing, if you get in the way of that, is abuse.
Right.
That's what he's trying to say. But they're not calling it out.
Mm-hmm.
They're abusing kids.
Yeah.
It's evil. It's demonic. It's wicked. And God hates it. There's no other way to say it. And weak, pathetic men are standing by and letting it happen. So, what will happen? Who knows? I mean, we're going through the book of Habakkuk. We're treading thin ice. Yeah. Real thin. Mm-hmm. We're throwing all of this in God's face.
Right.
And, God's merciful and gracious, but there's always a day of reckoning. Always.
Yeah. You said that about how it seems like more and more and more people are identifying as transgender or who knows whatever. I mean, they're always making up new pronouns and descriptions for themselves. I mean, you've got to have some kind of label for who you are so you can make your TikTok video and lecture people. And we talked about this last week after we were done recording, how it seems like more and more people are doing this. And I was reminded of Genesis chapter 19. And I think that what we should expect when God gives a people over to depravity is the society as a whole starts to act this way. So you look at Sodom and Gomorrah in Genesis chapter 19, and the angels come to the courtyard, and Lot urges them not to stay there and takes them to the house. And it says that before they lay down, the men of the city, the men of Sodom, both young and old, all the people to the last man surrounded the house.
Yeah.
So the entire city was filled with homosexuals, people men who wanted to violate these two angels. And I think that's what we're seeing today in our culture is people who, I even ran across an article this last week that was asking the question, why are so many heterosexuals identifying this way? And I think it's because they're being given over. Like they don't actually have the these sinful desires, but there's something that's going on inside of them that's causing them to identify with this movement. They're just being swept along. And I think it's because God is giving us over, and who knows when judgment's going to fall.
Yeah, it's a terrible thing. You keep thinking, even for this atheist, it still appears that he has the capacity to analyze like statistical data, because you can't argue with statistics, right? I mean, I guess you can try to finagle them and manipulate them, but if you're looking at numbers and you're looking at it from like kind of a scientific perspective, which is kind of what he's coming at. He's not even coming at it from our perspective, religious, right? He's just looking at it like, oh, how many kids are committing suicide?
Yeah.
Who are likely not to? And then he realizes, oh man, what in the world? If we leave kids alone, they grow out of this and then they don't commit suicide. But we're going to do something to kids that they can't reverse for the rest of their life.
Right.
So that's the way he's looking at it. And you just keep wondering, where are those type of people at? They're most of them are gone. They're just gone. Like you said, they've been swept away into this where they can't even, from a non-religious perspective, even analyze it and say, I've always thought the suicide thing is a major cop-out, because way more ex-military people, I think, you'd have to pull the stats up, are killing themselves. Then the numbers are staggering. 22. It used to be 22. Was like 22 a day at one point. Was that what it was, Larry? I'd have to look it up, but it was way higher than you would ever expect. Veterans, they're not 22 a day doing that in this other world. But that's the like big thing. We got to do this, or people will kill themselves. But veterans are just thrown away like garbage.
Yeah.
Who cares if they kill themselves?
Right.
So I've always thought it's a strange even excuse as to why, like, hey, let's go along. But now the data is out that shows, hey, if you're worried about that, the best thing to do is to leave them alone. Leave them alone.
Yeah.
But, and then a bill comes along, back to the bill. The bill seems to be trying to protect that, right?
Right.
to
Well,
protect the child
right,
from
protecting them from abuse, right?
from making some life-altering
Right.
thing at the hands of parents that seem to
Mm-hmm.
have lost all rationality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so on one side we've got the child abuse that's dealing with transgenderism. I came across something else
Mhm.
dealing with kids. This billboard popped up in Portland, Oregon. You can pop it up on the screen. Stop having kids, Jay.
Stop Having Kids. Paid for by stophavingkids.org. Did you check it out?
I did. Yes, I did. At first, I was like, this has got to be some kind of, I don't know, joke.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a joke, Jay.
Of course it's not a joke.
It is not a joke. Stophavingkids.org. Most people, this is at the very top of the website. Most people do not stop to question having children before opting to procreate. We want to change that by ensuring people consider the option of not reproducing as a valid, rational, and ethical lifestyle. And I thought you would be interested in this right here, Jay. The reason why: there is an unconscionable amount of needless suffering and death in the world. Birth serves as the catalyst for it all.
Oh, man. So
this is not a joke. Okay, you read it and you're like, these people can't be serious. They are. This is a serious website for people that are anti-natalist, is what they call themselves.
Do they want humanity to end? Is that their end goal?
They're saying there's already enough people. We can stop now.
But we'll all die in like a generation.
Hey, I don't know what to tell you.
Humanity won't survive.
They're also vegans.
Mm.
I know that shocks you.
Yeah,
Jay, that really shocks you. So they've got several pages. They're still working on it. There's not everything is up. There's some blank pages on here, but they do have some whys on here. Why humans should stop having kids. Although the good things in one's life make it go better than it otherwise would have gone, one could not have been deprived by their absence if one had not existed. Those who never exist cannot be deprived. However, by coming into existence, one does suffer quite serious harms that could not have befallen one had one not come into existence.
that's crazy, man. So are they nihilist, or are they all taking a suicide?
Okay, so here it is. We can just go through these, and you can just see their reasons. All right, so they've got their reasons.
Well, I'm just wondering if they've all taken a suicide pact.
I don't know what they're.
So they can enter into non-existence.
I don't know. So no desire, no consent. So we're bringing people into the world who
don't desire.
I mean, they don't, like, they're not asking to be born, right? Life is suffering.
Yeah.
Existing life is in need of help. So, foster care, abuse. They've got an animal in.
That dog got poked in the eye with a weird.
I guess.
Knife.
Parenthood regret. Who hasn't been there? Birth defects, escapism. Life enjoyment is far from a guarantee. So you may experience suffering, Jay. There's no guarantee that you're going to enjoy life. And I love this one. Enough humans already. That's my favorite one. And then we struggle to care for ourselves.
So I guess they were anti-COVID vaccination. They had to be, right?
You gotta have a plague to wipe out some of these people.
Yeah, there's enough humans already.
To make room for So there's enough humans already.
Yeah,
Jay.
Man,
I don't know what they think is going to happen when the humans start to die. There's already not enough humans.
Yeah.
Like we already are not having enough births to replenish the people who will die
right
in our country.
So
China recognized that. They had their one-child policy, and
Yeah.
they were killing babies because there were too many people, they thought. And now they recognize, oh, we're not replenishing the population. So they had to back that up a little bit.
So you have this massive infrastructure and all of these services we enjoy, and then there's not going to be any people to fill them. It's like, you know, if you try to go to restaurants and the restaurant is like recently, and they're real slow, they're just terrible. Like they're like, what happened? And they're like, oh, we just can't find any people to work. We don't have enough workers. Have you experienced that?
Yeah.
There are jobs everywhere, and there's not people working them. So it's going to be like that, but way worse because we don't have enough people.
Yeah.
To replenish what we have.
I didn't go all the way down. There's more. There's more reasons not to have kids,
man.
Jay. Wage laborers, scarcity. Look at this one, risking hell.
Risking hell? What?
That's an interesting one.
What?
Bring someone in, they're risking hell. I don't know what their I don't know what the background to these people is, but it's weird. Screwing over other species. Think about the turtles, Jay. Before you procreate, think about the turtles. My kid could save the planet, risking incarceration, sexual violence, climate crisis, slavery, trashing the planet, eternal dissatisfaction, loss of freedoms, and lack of privacy. Those are all reasons why you should stop having kids.
What a strange... It's a movement dedicated to...
it's called antinatalism.
It's doing, like God says, to be fruitful and multiply, and they have a movement that says, no, do the exact opposite of what God says.
Right.
Yeah. Strange. It's like we live in a world in rebellion. You know?
All right, here's what it is. Antinatalism is a philosophical and ethical stance against human reproduction rooted in harm reduction and rational consideration for future life with regard for the implications that procreation will have for other humans, other animals, and the natural world. Antinatalists consider human reproduction, besides some exceptions such as force, an irreversible, unnecessary, indefensible, and enduring form of harm, regardless of circumstances, situations, or consciousness in living. Antinatalists seek to radically reduce suffering and environmental destruction in the world. Refrainment from creating new life is the most efficient and effective means of minimizing suffering for all current and future sentient beings. Living according to antinatalist philosophy keeps as much of Earth's natural life forms, resources, beauty, and health intact. Antinatalists can be humans of any age group, and antinatalists may have had children, intentionally or unintentionally, in the past. Hey, guess what? One of their things that they promote is...
What?
You already know, Jay.
Abortion.
Abortion.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course they do. That doesn't cause suffering, though.
No.
Yeah.
No suffering.
Yeah. That's no prolonged psychological suffering to the woman for the rest of her life. You know, none of that. Doesn't cause any physical pain. Yeah, people... There's just contradictions. I hope that's one thing people can see, like as they look through like a website like this, is how the people of the world, their worldviews are just internally inconsistent, right?
Right.
So they'll say we are for the minimization of suffering, but on the other hand, they'll say they're for abortion.
Right.
That you can't be for both, you know?
Yeah.
So it's everywhere.
Yeah. So, I mean, you read through this stuff. A better world is a world where children aren't needlessly born. Like Satan has always hated children.
Yeah.
You see this all the way through the scripture. You see Pharaoh destroying the children. You see the Assyrians that would rip pregnant women open. You see Herod, who was killing all the children in Bethlehem. God loves children, and he's told humanity to be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth. He's given us everything we need. Satan wants to kill us.
Yeah. We need more humans.
Right.
Yeah. Populate the earth. Fill it up. There are vast swaths of the earth that aren't even populated.
Right.
Right now, the majority of humanity lives on the seacoasts, really.
Mm.
If you look at maps of the world,
Yeah.
the seacoast. Well, there are huge portions of land. There's plenty of room, plenty of food. Don't believe any of those lies. There's plenty of food. There's plenty of energy. I saw a thing the other day talking about you could power the entire continent of Europe with a tiny portion. It's like 2 square miles of the Sahara Desert. If they would like put in the infrastructure for solar panels. Like there's all kinds of things that we could do. And then, you know, we can also colonize Mars, George. Huh? What do you think? Can explore.
Yeah.
But we'll have to not use the term colonize. That's unfair to people that may be there, like Martians.
The Martians.
We'll have to use something else. Yeah. Because we don't want to offend anybody either. We want them to get on the ships and go and terraform and live on Mars. Just got to drop that word. It's a bad word. Yeah. Would you go to Mars, George?
Would I go to Mars?
You know, Elon Musk says we're going to Mars in the next like 50 years. We're going to live there.
Yeah. Why do I need to go to Mars?
Well, there'll be people there, George.
There's people here.
And they got to preach the gospel to all people.
Well, that's true. Missionaries to Mars? Is
Yeah.
that what you're saying?
That's right.
Okay.
We might have to start saving up our money for that right now.
If there's anyone in our church that feels called to the mission field.
Yeah. All right. I think that.
Okay.
We got enough. That's enough for today.
I think it's more than enough for today.
All right. I'm gonna push the button. There you go.
So you're gonna make me do it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, hopefully this has been informational. I don't know how else to describe this episode, Jay. I don't know. Well, hopefully this has been helpful for you. If nothing else, hopefully it's been eye-opening, seeing some of the things that are being said in our world, some of the things that are being promoted in our world, and we want to look at these from a biblical standpoint. We want to always go back to the scripture. So that's what we're encouraging you to do. No matter what comes across your computer screen, no matter what you hear in the world, always test it with God's word, because that's what God has given us. He's revealed himself to us, and we hope this helps you to be more and more conformed to Christ.